Welcome, Street Smart investors, to tonight's session. My name is Charmaine Adam, head property coach at Positive Property, and I'm super excited about tonight's session. So if you're a procrastinator and you're not looking for a solution or a resolution or a cure, this is probably not the right session for you, because I am blessed to have an amazing speaker tonight, Tessa Jetson. I'll let Tessa introduce herself in a moment, but she's going to be assisting each and every one of us to get out of that procrastination and really kick some great goals, particularly that we've got Christmas coming up soon and a new year. This could be the great timing for you to start kicking those goals. So Tessa, please introduce yourself. Oh, you're on mute, Tessa. And while we're waiting for Tessa to unmute yourself, if you can hear us loud and clear, just type G to G, good to go, in the chat. And
so if you hear me now?
Hear you now. And if you're watching live, hashtag live. And if you are watching the replay, hashtag replay. So Tessa, please introduce yourself and let us know how we can stop procrastinating and kick some great goals.
Hi, everyone. And thank you, Charmaine, for inviting me on here tonight. I'm really excited. It's my favorite topic, teaching people how to bust procrastination. So can I share my slides, Charmaine? Is that all cool?
Absolutely. Please do.
I'll share my slides and I'll get into my presentation. All right. Just give me 1 second. Technical. Oh, you've just given me sharing rights. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So can everyone see my slides? Can you let me know when they can see them?
Them look so bright. I love the vibrant color. Love it.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Tessa, and this is my presentation on procrastination, busting procrastination. So a little bit about me. I have a background. Everything I'm teaching you tonight is based on science. So I was a global director of a huge neurochange company. So all through since COVID, I started researching about neurochange. And I'm a master trainer in the neuroscience and the neurochange method. So everything I'm touching on tonight is based on science that I've learned in the last 4 years. So I'm going to cover how neuroscience can help you reach your goals. And I will explain the science behind why you procrastinate. So neuroscience is based on years of new research on how the brain works. So some of the stats, a bit about myself, as well as being the Neurochange Method Global Director. I've worked around goal setting for the last over 20 plus years. I've helped thousands of people from all fields. I've worked with people with depression and mental health, and ladies who've come from abuse, but I've also worked with a lot of coaches, a lot of business clients, and across the board in every field, over 90% of people procrastinate. So property investors, everybody, we all procrastinate. So tonight I'm going to talk about why that is. Why do we procrastinate? Now, what I've found in my role as global director, selling millions of dollars in courses, that only 3% of people ever did anything with the courses they paid for. Now, they basically spent $5,000 on a course and they didn't take action. I was really intrigued about this because I didn't expect this, because I'd been in goal setting for over 20 years and I was really confused why they didn't take action. And what I found was the main reason that they never had support and mentoring. So they bought a program, they didn't get the support that they needed, and that's why they weren't taking action. I was really delved into this. So I assumed that because they were coaches, they didn't need support. And I was actually wrong. It really intrigued me. So I started just to test this theory out, and I started mentoring a group of 30 to see if I could help them. And they actually all succeeded. So I just I reached out to the people saying, hey, I'd love to mentor. You've paid $5,000 for a course. Would you like me to help you, be successful? And so if you go to my go to my Facebook page, you will see that lots of testimonies there, but I've just pulled out a few of people that I mentored back a couple of years ago in the neuroscience, and they're all running successful businesses today. And it's the mentoring, and that's the key to being successful. Like, it's all good and well saying I want to do this. Like, I'm thinking of, I was thinking about property investing, the same thing. You need a mentor. Now, so much of what I've learned over the last 20 years about reaching your goals is actually not true. There's a lot of new research, and it's literally changed my life when I learned this. So a lot of those things we learned. So we've been told, I've done training with Tony Robbins, with you name it, I've done it. Brian Tracy, I've done every a lot of the training out there. I've done so many courses and certificates, and we have been told that our brain is hardwired. We're being told, and our brain is shaped by the time we're 7 years old. And that's actually not true. Our brain is actually, new researchers found, since I've done the neuro change course, our brain is actually soft wired and can be reshaped up to the age of 85 based on what you do and who you associate with. So we can actually change our brain. So once you're in the habit of procrastination, you need help to get out of it. Your brain is actually wired now to procrastination. So you're a procrastinator, because I'm working with clients. I've got a group of 20 clients right now, and they're all massive procrastinators. And I've been working with them for the last 5 or 6 weeks, absolute transformations, but it takes time, because when they started working with them, their brain is wired to procrastinate. They've been a procrastinator for decades, some of them. And the only way to change your habits is to rewire your brain. So we need to actually do some work to become a person who's not a procrastinator. And it does take work, but it can be done. So a bit of my backstory, I won't go into too much detail about this, but long time ago, 20 years ago, I was actually ended up in a women's refuge. I was a broke single mum. So everything I'm talking about, become very successful. I have literally walked my talk. I've literally changed my destiny, changed who I am. That's me on the left-hand side, and that's my little daughter on my lap. And she had her second birthday actually in a women's refuge. And after that, I literally have invested years in self-development and rewiring my brain. And I spoke to a lady the other day. This was actually blew my mind. I spoke to a lady the other day who reached out to me, and she was in this picture, actually. This is her on the second picture in the blonde hair on the right hand. She's got the blonde hair on the second picture. And she literally has ended up living that life for the last couple of decades, and she's got nowhere in life. So based on who you associate with, what you do, you can change your destiny. But I changed my life, become very successful, set up my own charity, and I started helping women move forward like I did. And I've written a book. You can find it on Amazon, and I run free retreats to help women. So I have changed my destiny, and I now have helped thousands of people move forward in life. So it doesn't matter where you've come from, it's what you do now and who you associate with. So how did I go from being a broke single mum to being a property investor and an entrepreneur? Like literally, I was in government housing, emergency accommodation, you name it, I was there. But I had a strong desire and passion to be successful. I've worked with coaches to help me move forward. That's the key. I immersed myself in self-development since the year 2000. I started just doing every self-development course that I could get my hands on. A lot of free stuff initially. Then I've done a lot of courses. I've done life coaching, NLP, you name it. I've done it for 20 years. I've immersed myself. But I found my purpose that pushed me forward. I had a strong reason why, and that was my children. So what is your purpose? Because I found with all my clients that I've worked with over the last 20 years that the ones that become successful, they have a strong purpose, a strong reason why. Now, I know you're all here into property investment, and I love the work what Positive Property is doing, but you need to have a strong reason. Like, why do you want to invest in property? Like, why are you doing that? Because that's going to push you forward. And what drove me is I wanted to be a really good role model. I wanted my kids to be successful. And it's no coincidence that I bought a house at 23 years old, that all my children, my 3 children, have all bought properties. And my daughter actually, who was in that photo back in that picture, she bought a house at 24 years old. So I started teaching them about property investing and so forth, and setting goals. And so it rubbed off on my kids. So you need to have a huge reason, reason why. But here's some of the main reasons people procrastinate. A huge reason is they don't have a written plan. Fewer than 3% of people actually have clear written goals. I showed you back in that picture when I had done the Tony Robbins, that I did all that goal setting. I'm actually selling my house that I'm in currently, and I've been going through, and I found all these goal setting books. I found 20 years of diaries and goal setting books that I've written over the years. It's been quite amazing actually, but I've had written goals. So most people in my current group of 20 clients that I'm taking through a course right now, not one of them have had written goals in this course when I started, not one of them. So you need to have a plan, written goals. When you don't write your goals down, you create these open loops. Like you might have an idea, and I call it clutter in the brain. You have an idea and another idea, and you have a plan, but you don't actually take action. And this is what it looks like in your brain. You're all over the shop. You're literally creating anxiety. You're getting overwhelmed. And this is all the business people that I've mentoring the last few years during COVID. They're all over the shop. They haven't got a plan. None of them wrote their goals down. So another huge reason people procrastinate, as I mentioned earlier, they don't have support. This is huge, It is not possible to be successful with your goals without having mentoring and support. When I wanted to become successful, I reached out. When I wanted to buy property, I talked to people about property. When I wanted to start a business, I went and done a business course. I've written a book, so I went and spoke to a publisher. Everything I've wanted to be successful in, I reached out to somebody who can help me do that, right? So what we call people who don't take action, you're stuck in this, what I call the procrastination, in the procrastination loop, but like on the hamster wheel. You feel guilty, you don't do it, you don't take action, and you're just going round and round in circles. Like people that I'm working with, honestly, years and years, some of them 10 years, 15 years, talking about a goal they've never implemented. So what happens in the procrastination loop? You have a goal, you're excited about it. So it could be buying a property, whatever the goal is. In the case that I'm working with now, a lot of them are life coaches, and they have a goal, but they just don't take action. They don't take the first step, and they keep making excuses for not reaching their goals. And then what happens, guys? You feel bad for not taking action. Now, science has proven, this is what I love about all the neuroscience stuff I've been learning over the last 4 years. Science has actually proven that self-loathing prohibits goal attainment. So it actually gets harder and harder to reach your goals or even set a goal, because now you've got no faith you'll do it. So reaching goals actually does the opposite, which is really exciting. It actually releases dopamine, which is a chemical that makes you feel good. But it's even more exciting than that. So you reach your little goals and you start feeling positive. Now, we have 40,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. 90% are repeated on a loop based on what beliefs are wired into your brain. 90% of most people's thoughts are negative based on past your history. Like if you've been a procrastinator, if you haven't got things done, then you're just spending the day, 90% of your day thinking about this. Oh, I'm not good. I can't get this done. I haven't done this before. And it's just on a loop because it's hardwired into your brain, right? It's wired into your brain. We can change, as I said before, we can rewire that. It's not hardwired for good. It's wired into your brain. We can change if you do different things. But if you're got a wiring, most people don't get out of this loop, honestly, unless they actually do this work. Now, to achieve your goals and break free from procrastination, not only do we need to do activities to rewire our brain, which I'll share with you shortly, we also need to overcome limiting beliefs, because you're in this cycle of I'm not good enough. You need to change your mindset, and you need to rewire the neural pathways in your brain. So this is how do we make change? How do we do this? This is a really exciting part. Now, if you have a look at this picture here, this is inside your brain. We have millions of neurons in our brain, and this is all our neural pathways. Now, if you look at the glowing light, the ones with the glowing light, that is a new neural pathway being formed. So if you're a procrastinator and you've procrastinated, but now you start taking action, you start doing that new thing every single day, then eventually you'll create a new pathway. And then the black pathways are the ones that have died off. You're not using them. So just in this vision, I want you to think about, if you want to be, I'm just going to use the property investment example. If you haven't been a property investor before, and now you start working on your goals in property investing, like with my daughter, when she was 20 years old, I started teaching her. I said, Deb, what do you think you need to do to buy property? And she's like, I need to get a deposit. How much you think you need? We started doing research. We started going to look at display homes when she was 20 years old. And she just started doing those activities and become a little go-getter and doing all that. So she created this pathway. She's a little entrepreneur, my daughter. I just spent the day with her. I'm so proud of her. And so she become a person who's a property investor, right? And so to be the person you want, you need to create the neural pathways. Now, how do we create the new neural pathways? I'm just going to give you another view. We need to do it the same. We need to create the new pathways the way we created the old pathways. So if you've got an old pathway being procrastinator, we need to start doing the new things over and over and over again. We need to create new pathways. Now, you can't just do it overnight. If you've wired your brain to be a procrastinator, you can't just say you're going to do something and turn into a person who's an action taker. It takes time. And I'm going to talk about the science behind this. So you need to start implementing a new habit to build the new pathways. Now, this picture here is what we call the synapses. And this is a closer view of the glowing light I just showed you in the last slide. So when you repeat a new activity, a new habit, you actually, electrical currents start happening. So you're creating these electrical currents and they start forming the new pathway. But it takes time. You need to put the energy on the new habits, like being a property investor, then the other ones die off eventually, but it takes time to do this, right? Now I've just gone back to my slide. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong key. It takes time to do this. I just hit the wrong damn key. Now, science has proven that it takes at least 66 days, and I'm going to show you up to even a year. So basically, on average, it's 66 days of repetition for the new habit, but up to 254 days to reach a new level of habit change in what we call automaticity, where that's just who you are. So when you reach, now this is really exciting, when you reach small goals, you release dopamine. Now, you don't have to, that little action I told you that you have to do every day, it doesn't have to be a big action. Most people get overwhelmed and don't do the daily action because they're trying to do goals that are too big. So when you reach your small new daily goals, like it might be, for example, if you're looking at property, doing, 1 hour a day or 10 minutes of research, or having, doing something every day towards buying a property, for example. Like my daughter, she was doing something every day, doing a bit of research or something. So you start the dopamine, you start releasing this chemical, like I told you before, the dopamine that makes you feel good. But what's even more exciting is that it's also the glue that joins the synapses together. So then you become a permanent change. You do that permanent change. So whatever the change that you're working on is. So this is another view. Honestly, guys, when I saw these slides, it changed my life. Like, I've been studying goal setting and procrastination for 20 years, and I couldn't work out why some of my clients could not move forward. I couldn't work it out. And then also a lot of them were getting overwhelmed. And then when I learned about this, that it's the small little goals you do every day that changes your life, but it's the consistency. So on the right-hand side, the little red circles is the dopamine. And you can see that when we do our little daily goals, we release the dopamine, and that's going to now rewire and make that permanent change because the synapses is going to be glued together. So that's pretty exciting. So this is the view of all the pictures I've shown you. We've got the neural pathways up in the top left-hand corner. The synapses, electrical currents, is the daily activity. Then the dopamine being released because you're taking that daily action is going to glue that synapses together to make the permanent change. And it's not, again, I'll repeat it again, it's really important to know, it's not, for example, somebody wanting to change in their health, it's not walking an hour a day, it's 5 minutes every day. It's what you do daily that counts. So if you're doing property and you're a little bit overwhelmed, you just do something every day, one little thing every day till you get it. Now, if you've constantly set goals and never reached your goals, you may hold these beliefs. What you focus on is is a command to your brain to take action. So what are you telling yourself on a daily basis? Because if you're telling yourself this is what you're actually giving your brain a command to do. I'm not good enough. This is a story, and you're saying this story every day. That's what's going to be the story. I never reach my goals. Nothing works for me. All this talk, the 90% of the negative self-talk that people do every single day, is what you're programming your brain to be. If you say I'm not good enough, you're not going to be good enough. I never reach my goals, you won't reach your goals. Nothing works out for me. Change your destiny. Because I know when I was a broke single mum 20 years ago that I literally consumed myself with being successful for my children. And I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, changed my life. My son's got $1 million business. He's got multiple properties. My other son just bought a house in Queensland, is buying another house. So I know it's rubbed off. Obviously, it's rubbed off on my children too, but I could have spent my life saying, I'm not good enough. Look what's happened to me. I never reach my goals. Nothing works out for me. No, but I didn't do that. I've spent my life saying, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to take action, right? I didn't say it's another failure. I said, right, what do I need to do to make it happen? Now, how do you think you would feel about yourself with those belief systems? Do you think you can be a goal achiever with negative beliefs? Absolutely not. And science has proven in all the studies that I've been doing for the last 4 years, study has proven that self-punishment, I said it before, negative self-talk prohibits success in all areas of your life. And I know with my clients, I literally reprogram their brain, and they're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not confident. I'm not a business person. Now they're smashing goals. Like, honestly, I've got these people doing testimonies at my next event. I've only been working with them for 6 weeks, and they're speaking on stage on the 14th of December, talking about their success they've had. So if you have negative self-talk, you don't just think about it, you physically feel it. And this is another layer to what I've just talked about. It's actually a form of self-sabotage when you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, because you're also teaching yourself that you don't do what you say, and you create habits of procrastinating. So it's really, don't say like I'm going to do one action a day and then you don't do it, because you're literally rewiring, you're wiring yourself to, you're programming yourself to not do it, but it's actually a self-sabotage. Now, what happens to the brain? This is another such an important thing. When I learned this, it was like a light bulb going off to why people don't reach their goals. What happens to the brain when we have these thoughts? We release cortisol, a chemical that makes you feel anxiety. So I'm not good enough, I don't get my goals done, you're not taking action, you're self-sabotaging, you're not doing what your mentoring team is saying to do. So you're literally feeling anxiety, right? This is what happens. Your brain is flooded, your whole body is flooded with the cortisol. You're now feeling anxiety. There's no chance you will reach your goals feeling in this state. It's not possible. So there's so many layers to why you need to do these small, and I say if you take it right back and work with a mentor and just do your daily small goals, you will be successful. But when you don't do it and you say you're going to do it, you literally, it's just a self-sabotage. You just can't move forward. It's not possible. This is a state of mind you're in, and it's not possible to reach your goals, because I've helped thousands of people since the year 2010, since I've become a trainer. And I especially work with women who've been through extreme abuse and they've got that much anxiety, depression, who are now authors, motivational speakers. I've changed them really quickly once they learnt this. In a few months, they're literally like, you can change yourself, because I show them this talk, and I'm just showing you guys, you can rewire your brain. But most people are stuck in this endless cycle of procrastination with their goals. They start something, they fail, they feel bad, they release cortisol, then they feel worse. And then it just goes around and around in a circle, right? So you need to stop talking about all the things you need to do and start doing it, because it's in the doing that you release the dopamine, that you start feeling proud of yourself, that you start going, yes, I can actually do this. I can do it, right? I can do it. Like, I mean, I'm sitting in this house here. I just want to share this. I should have put a slide up, but I bought this house $118,000 when I was 23 years old. I'm going to be selling it shortly for nearly $1 million. And I'm buying a couple of tiny homes, block of land. I'm traveling in a van. I mean, I've got an awesome life. My kids are all adults now. So all this because I took action, guys. I should have put it on these slides anyway. Yeah, I'll share it with Charmaine when I sell my house. But you need to implement. It's the implementation of what you learn that changes your life. It's not listening, hearing, like the positive property talk about, buying properties, but you don't implement. You're not going to be successful. You need to implement. So when I run my courses, like, you need to take action, or you get taken out of my courses, and you let me know when you're ready to reach your goals. But you must find your purpose. Like I said earlier, you've got to find that purpose. Why do you want to change your life? What is it that's going to push you forward? You've got to have that why. What is your reason why? And I just wanted to share this. Oh, this picture makes me so emotional. This is my beautiful family. This is me in the middle in the bright blue. This is my three adult children, their three beautiful wives, my 8 grandchildren, who are all and my kids are all entrepreneurs and go-getters, and they have a beautiful life because I did the work, and I become a go-getter, and it's rubbed off on my kids. So I love to share that as well, because what you do is rubbing off on your kids, right? Don't you want to teach them to be a go-getter, entrepreneur, property investor? And it's just really cool, it's just amazing. So I'm really proud of them. But researchers found one of the most powerful ways to do this process is to have a coach, guys. You need to have a coach. I love what the positive property do. You can't do it alone. There's no way. Whatever you want to achieve results in, you need to have a coach. If you have not done it before, you need support. So like I said, anything I want to do new, I speak to somebody who's done it. I wanted to work in the mines years ago, so I found somebody who worked in the mines so I could get to do that. I did that for a few years. If you want to be successful, you need to work with people that have done what you want to do. Right? So take action and implement your goals. Whatever process you've got, over at least 90 days, commit to that goal to rewire your brain. I actually, even though it says 66 days, I say a minimum of 90 days to rewire your brain. And that way 100% this is just going to be who you are, taking action. So that's my presentation, the short presentation for this group. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to join I've got a free group. I don't sell anything in there. I just post daily tips in this group. You can join my Procrastinator Buster group. I'm really passionate about this topic. I'm passionate about people reaching their goals and being successful. And I hope something I've said made a difference. And thank you very much for listening to my presentation.